And since I was on the call committee, I said, well, okay, we probably ought to go. So we called him to do this.
I love this story.
He was upfront about it.
Yeah, I love it.
Too. That's why he was going.
And I didn't care, did I?
I've never done anything like this at all, ever. Once we were here, and once we were with the people, and once we had a little plan, and once you could see it was going to make a difference, it just seemed like the thing to do. So I probably called here and didn't know it.
Yep. Yep.
Most of these people haven't been educated, just like Francisco. He went through 6th grade, right? And he was one of the few people who could read and write in 1992. Where were you in 1992? I mean, I know I had education in 1992. I was working. And all these people just have Francisco. He was not the only one, but one of the few people who could read and write. And when he was sharing his story this morning, I was like, really? Yeah, this is my country.
To see how you guys were going to, you have all these things going on, and I didn't understand how you were going to coordinate all that, get all of the stuff done that you've been doing. So I wanted to come and see how that happens. So it's happening.
Asia, and knew some people very well who had done a lot of incredible work in Cambodia in 08, 09, and they probably even had worse conditions in here. So it just was, it was just some incredible work that was happening there by some people I was very close with. So when we came back, I really, I don't know exactly what. When it happened, but the trip came, and I said, I think I really want to go. And the first year, I was more of an observer because I didn't have, I was on the new people, didn't really have a particular chore, but just incredibly overwhelmed by all the great work that was going on. Second year, I was even more rewarding for me because then I had a purpose with the computer lab, getting that set up with Steve and Bill, so that was great.
He really enjoyed his time here. So I heard a lot of great things about what you guys are doing here, and I just kind of wanted to come and see what was happening. And I also really enjoy educating people, and I think what I did today with the nutrition was very helpful, and hopefully that will help change their lives.
I became a minister by the churches, and the people tried to do that. For me, that's, and as part of my upbringing, that's just not authentic. And if I thought about in terms of the corporate world, I would say that missions is the prophet statement of faith. And what I remember is that he stopped the passage, and Abram went as the Lord told him, period. Didn't have a map, didn't have a clue where he was going. He just went in an amazing act of faith. And I see that connection in the stories. The connection here is you had no clue what you were doing. But you went anyway. And the call followed your following. And you followed first, and the call came in a way, which is amazing, strange and amazing in a way. So I'm struck by that. I want to tell you that I think I was called to Palau before I was born. I was called on the Solomon Islands in World War II. My father was in World War II and spent 3 years in the Pacific. And he told the story when they landed on the Solomon Islands, they were greeted by the natives with hospitality and open arms. And they discovered they were Christians. And they said, "You're Christians too." And the bond of Christ brought a gift of hospitality and welcome to them. And my father always remembered that. And so when he came back, he remembered two things. The world is at war, and we need to find a better way to find peace. And that we need to build relationships with each other. And his life was about building relationships among people.
I said, I'm just going to open my heart to God, and I'm going to find out what it is that he has. I knew what I wanted to do, but that's not what God had me, that's not what God had in mind. And I met Virginia and others, Jody and Craig, certainly. And got talking about the Guatemala trip, and the more I learned about it, the more I said, you know, I believe I have a calling here, and I expressed that in the application. I said, I believe that God is calling me to go and make a positive difference in people's lives.
And this time we were sitting together, and go, this is their goal. And why don't we just go? And, you know, I spoke to Virginia, and just talking to her, I remember Virginia a couple of times, and watching pictures all the time and listening to them. And like, you know, Tita made a good point. It's just seeing Virginia or other people who came back from there, it's very low, and it's, you know, huge difference. And I'm just so excited, you know. I know how much you guys made influence in my life, changed everything. I feel like even when I'm here, they're still making more difference in my life than in 2 days I made something there. I'm just observing here.
And now to go back and to hopefully use this experiences in ways that are truly faithful for our congregation. There are, I think, a lot of similarities between the Kirk and Carrie Press and the skill sets, and seeing what you all have done in God's name in Palau, and realizing, you know, the changes that have occurred. It's a remarkable thing. It's a blessing. I think about the call of Abraham. You know, you have been blessed to be a blessing, and by you all the families of the earth. Well, this is part of God's family, you know, in Palau.